The Greens for Palestine group have launched motion A105, which is called Zionism is Racism, which will be voted on at the Green Party's spring conference. The demands include declare the Green Party an explicitly anti-Zionist party, reject the IHRA and JDA definitions that conflate anti-Zionism with antisemitism, support a single Palestinian state with equal rights for all residents, affirm Palestinian self-determination and legitimate resistance, call for full embargoes and boycott, divestment and sanctions, demand the release of all political prisoners, including Marwan Barghouti, de-prescribe Palestine action, support the demands of prisoners of Palestine. In a statement, they wrote, "The motion urges the Green Party to declare itself an anti-Zionist party, while rejecting attempts to conflate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism or to create hierarchies of racism. We are clear that not all Jews are Zionist and not all Zionists are Jewish. Opposition to a political ideology and the policies of a state must not be misrepresented as hostility towards Jewish people who hold diverse political views, including opposition to Zionism." Earlier today, I caught up with Greens for Palestine steering group member Lubna Speighton to discuss. For those who may not be familiar, can you briefly go through why you believe Zionism itself is a racist concept?
Well, I don't know how much more I really need to explain. The whole world is witnessing it live stream. I mean, this is the practice based upon the racist ideologies of Zionism, which is based upon settler colonialism, supremacy, and now, unfortunately, we are seeing and witnessing it in practice. And that is resulting in the erasure of our people in Palestine, which will have long and imploding effects, a ripple effect beyond that. This is a worldwide issue that should concern everybody because it certainly does affect everyone.
So, reading in the demands, it states that the Greens should support a single Palestinian state with equal rights for all residents. Does that mean calling for a one-state solution, or does it mean calling for a separate state for Palestine alongside Israel, i.e. a two-state solution?
A single democratic Palestinian state with Jerusalem as its eternal capital and equal rights for all. This is calling for the dismantlement of apartheid, the end of genocide, what has been done to the Palestinians, to our people, for decades as the world sat silently, has now laid out a foundation for this genocide, and either the denial or the participation by world governments and leaders, and it's horrifying. It should never have taken place in the first place. It began in this country and should end in this country. And this is what we are confronting. It is a racist regime who has denied us our rights for decades, and now we're witnessing what is an existential threat, which is beyond Palestine. It is also something that we're going to see, we're already seeing across the region. There is no justification for it. And what we're doing here is exposing the hypocrisy, the double standards, the way that this state has continued to deny rights, the prejudice, the suppression, state repression is on the increase as we're witnessing. It is a grave injustice, and one that it has to be exposed, it has to be confronted. And without doing that, and the cruxes of it, which is Zionism, the fundamentals that this was built upon, it should never have happened. And who has the right to give away a land they had no right to give? The fact that our people are now forced to pay for crimes that we didn't commit. The fact that we have all lived and existed together peacefully, irrespective of religion. For hundreds of years, there was never a problem in the instance, and it's now used to justify what we're witnessing. There is no right to do that. It should never happen in the first place. And unless we confront that reality, this will continue. South Africa, the apartheid wasn't agreed, let's have a black state, a white state. This has to be confronted. The whole reality of everything that we fought for historically, all the freedoms that we tried to protect and defend. Now we're sitting here in a time where, to endorse the existence of apartheid, apartheid state is now, it creates a mockery of everything. A system that was supposed to be built upon equality. Equality is nothing but a myth. And what is happening now, if this can happen to us here in Palestine and here in this country today, and the silencing mechanisms that take place, then none of us will be safe. We just have to ask who is next. do tomorrow if we don't confront this. And we're seeing the closet racists come out of it in their drove, the rise of the far right, fascism, everything's on the increase. Why? Because it's not being confronted. And when people wonder why this is going to, I mean, it's systemic, it's in our systems, and we have to resist it. We have to confront it, and we have to address a racist narrative that has for far too long denied us of our rights and now set a precedent. If this can take place with such impunity now, then it just lays out a foundation for further future injustice to occur. And this, it has to end. And I just reiterate, it began here and must end here.
Do you think that the sort of two-state solution is over? I mean, of course, that's the sort of liberal mainstream position, a two-state solution, but is that even viable? And does a two-state solution kind of feed the Zionist narrative that it's about protecting a apartheid genocidal state of Israel?
That's all it is to protect. It's the imperialist watchdog of the Middle East. It's designed, literally, there is no, that is not a solution. This is like the nail of the coffin of apartheid on us. And we even in spite of all agreements, negotiations, the wavering of our rights, even to resist, it still has resulted in, beyond now apartheid, we are looking at our erasure. This is not a solution. The only solution, the only true viable solution will be to dismantle it, to dismantle a system of apartheid, of racism, of genocide, and to reinstate a homeland that did provide equality for all. That is the only solution left. It's either, it's literally all or nothing, now or never situation. And it's like I keep reiterating to people, you know, when you endorse this upon Palestine and it's acceptable, it becomes accepted and the norm. What are you saying to the rest of the world here? Beyond the litmus test, it is a test of compliancy. And we have to shatter that. It has to be removed. People have to understand the history, address the narrative, and confront the realities of what this is. We've seen their Greater Israel project. We've seen the expansion now, Syria, the attacks now on Iran, Yemen, you know, all our neighboring countries, it's the same. It's not going to stop at Palestine. And sadly, the Arab leaders in the other countries, I mean, there'll be a heavy price to pay for the people. Unfortunately, they themselves, you know, they were dangling on America's noose. And unless we cut those ties and we apply those sanctions, there has to be sanctions. We have to put this right now. It is enough. We are seeing the greater threat here. And if we don't act now and swiftly and confront it and open it, strip it all back to its core, things won't change except to get worse and escalate. And all our rights are on the line, even our basic civil liberties, and a means to address it, which is why we bring it back to even calling for, you know, the release of those detained and the draconian measures taking place to prevent people from opposing this. And when we have to sit here in a time, you know, you've got the Holocaust Remembrance Day that recently took place. And of course, there was no mentioning of Palestine, it's complete denial. And you sit there thinking, well, is this what we're waiting for? Do we have to sit here and wait until there are now crocodile commemorations for the Palestinians? I refuse to sit back and watch that silently. And people are being shaken now out of this malaise. And I think it is that crunch time now where we really have to stick together, protect each other. We are a power in numbers. We need to mobilize the unions, you know, even the removal of with the anti-trade union legislation. It's all part of that silencing mechanism. They've seen how we've done it before, and they're petrified of us doing it again. I'm more petrified of someone addressing a narrative that desperately needs addressing. And the overwhelming support that we've had for this, it highlights the fact that the world is waking up. They are realizing, and there will be measures in place. But, you know, liberation didn't come without resistance. And we have to protect that right for all of us.
During Jeremy Corbyn's leadership of the Labour Party, he and those of us on the left faced smears and weaponisation. In your view, can the Green Party and the wider left combat anti-Semitic accusations this time when it comes to anti-Zionist politics? Is there lessons we can learn from beforehand?
Of course. What happened beforehand was because it wasn't confronted. People didn't confront it, and that has paved the way for what we're witnessing now, the enforced rollout of the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. It's all designed not to protect Jews from discrimination for them being Jewish, but to protect a racist state, to protect Israel, to silence Palestinian voices, to silence advocates of our voices. And it has set a brutal, it's a weaponization of a term. There's so much. We've literally written essays on this subject, and it's both the JDA, the IHRA, and there are others. And unless we confront that and bring this back to and really challenge it, these things again won't be changed. And sadly, what happened in Corbyn's era should be a huge lesson to everybody, not to sit silently, because that has literally giving it on a plate. This measure of, again, silencing. And the smear campaign, it's all part of that. It's the Hasbara, the propaganda. We're going to accuse you of this if you oppose Zionism and genocide. Okay, you're an anti-Semite. Oh, if you resist or you support resistance, oh, you're a terrorist. So, okay, if this is the terms that you want to use and to further oppress us and violate, okay, we'll wear it as a badge of honor for the rest of us. Everybody was a terrorist at one point. Whether it's the Jews in the Warsaw Ghetto who was resisting, the South Africans, the Congolese, they've done it to us all. Anyone who opposes their systematic oppression and their violations of our rights, of course, they're going to smear us. But what I say to everyone, we have to stand up, oppose it, and do it for all of us. Because as we've seen its effects. They've been absolutely detrimental. And without confronting it and challenging it, those things won't change. So we're here to protect everybody's rights equally, without creating hierarchies of racism, without justifying genocide, and without denying and infringing upon the rights of others, which is exactly what those definitions are designed to do. And it must be clear, if they're going to create a definition, then let it be one that doesn't conflate. And let it be one that is, we've got the Equality Act 2010, not that it's completely without flaw or fault, but it is a legally binding definition. It does generally protect most people and define what the discrimination is, even down to the very terminology that's used to describe these, the definitions. For example, fully loaded, even the word anti-Semite. You strip it back to even go right back to the history of the beginning of that term. Okay, it derived from an Orientalist who used it to describe those from the region, the natives to the region, who spoke Assyrian, Aramaic, Arabic, Hebrew. That did not include those who came from Europe. Then, of course, later it was recoined by a racist German to wear as a badge of honor for his hate against Jewish people. Now, the problem with that, and again, that was done in another prejudice formation. But this is the fact that it's still used to literally further fuel a narrative that denies our existence. We are what was originally termed as Semites. So you see the problem with what has become, because it's become widely accepted, does it mean we should? We have to strip all of this back to its basic fundamental cause and look at it and address it. So we are building the challenge. We are explaining to people and educating people on what they can do. For example, in workplaces, you've got this, it's a clear breach when people are told, oh no, you can't wear your Palestine badge, you can't wear your kafia. Yet those same workplaces held up flags for Ukraine, fundraisers, all the rest of it. The clear double standards when it comes to Palestinian lives. And we're seeing not enough of them are challenged. There's, again, it's scaremongering tactics, silencing. You've got victim blaming, gaslighting, and they vilify the victims and victimize the villains. It's the same narrative that we have to obliterate. And that it sets to send a message to them. It's about taking action and confronting it and saying, I will wear my badge. I will wear my kafia. You want to take a challenge? Okay, let's go. There's so many routes we can challenge that. The Equality Act, then you've got associated discrimination. Oh, I associate with Palestinians. What you sue them, take action, get the unions involved, get your work colleagues involved, get local campaign groups involved. Do not step away and refuse to challenge it. It has to be challenged. And the more that we challenge it and confront it, the less likely they are to be able to use and weaponize that And when we take challenge against the definition, okay, you want to use and exploit a definition that's only been weaponized to do this to us, we will confront that with it. Even down to the fact recently, you may have heard a press release has just come out. We've taken action, legal proceedings against our local council for their investments in Israel with the local government pension scheme. And we've forced them to concede that they unlawfully claimed that they could not apply BDS against international entities or the UK defence sector. Now, they can. We've seen it, it's happened. They unlawfully continue to use this, even though I believe it was in 2020, PSE took a case to High Court that addressed this matter and said that they could divest. However, they continued to unlawfully claim this in the responsible investment policies, which has prevented people from taking that action or being used as an excuse. Oh, we can't divest. And then those who have made pledges, no divestment has actually occurred yet. It's been empty pledges in action. It's now forced them, those who have put forward, say, diluted demands, for example, limiting it to the UN prescribed list. It's not enough. It's a small minority. So still it's okay to fund, for example, the AI tech that hunts our people down, the bulldozers and tanks that demolish our homes. And this, you're saying no. You know, you've deemed yourselves an anti-apartheid state. In 1983, 84, most of the councils took on it. There's a declaration, anti-apartheid declaration, that they signed, and that also asked of them to uphold and honour this in future cases of apartheid. Most councils adopted, they passed resolutions against apartheid South Africa, and it called for full BDS, you know, rejecting propaganda. It was really comprehensive, and they expressed their great abhorrence against what was taking place, and the same must be applied here. Far worse is happening now, and very little is taking place, and the only way that's going to happen is when we force them. And the consultations are about to come out now. We force them to now have to consult also with their employees. And this is taking place, and we have to inform them, okay, this is where you have now the opportunity to say, no, not in my name. And we must all push for this. And this now sets a precedent. When you take this challenge and you are persistent enough, you force it. You know, it's not going to come with you pleading. You're pleading with oppressors. You're pleading with a racist system. We've done the marches. We've done the petition. We've pleaded to MPs, but no, they are part of it. They are participant in it. All of those that sit silently are participant in the genocide and erasure of our people. And when will it stop? It will only stop when we make it stop. And this is what we aim to do with both the motion. It's setting a precedent beyond Green Party. We're calling on other leadership to take this, and international. It is to literally rip it apart and break it down and say, right, this is what's just. This is going to be the only solution. When we break the shackles of a system that is corrupt and that is participating in these war crimes, it is stop the colonization. We have to end it. There's so much to say on this matter, and so much work has been done, you know, from speaking to the dockers, to the unions, trying to stop all shipments to and from Israel. And I'd like to send a message to them too. I mean, they have port policies, for example. There's one, the anti-slavery policy that the ports have, that say that they are well within their right and should be protected if they refuse to if anything it brings harm to them or others, they are within their right to refuse, and within the unions as well. But sadly, there's a lot of bureaucracy that prevents this from happening. And again, if we confront this in numbers, they're going to be hard pressed to ignore that. And that's the message that we're sending with both the motion, with the divestment challenge, that you will be confronted and you will be held to account. And this is now the people's time to speak, to protect all of our rights. Because if we don't, far worse is coming. This now sets a grave precedent if we don't.
For Green Party members, when is the vote happening at the conference and how they can get involved?
The amendment period will take place for this coming week after Standing Order Committee rules. And I believe it's the 28th of March, the dates for the spring conference. This one will take place online. And the following one will be autumn, I believe, in Leeds. So, yeah, we need the comrades in. It's had an overwhelming response from comrades, and actually has now broken the record, from what I understand, of how many people have supported the motion. This should send a big message, within both the party and outside of it. And this is what we intend to do. It's already victorious in the sense that that process of addressing the narrative has begun, of confronting what needs to be confronted. It is starting, and we hope this will continue, and we encourage everybody to speak up, to support this, to put this motion in, other parties here and abroad. This is something that we can't be silent on now. It is literally, this could be the beginning of the end of that, and the liberation with it for all people. And we're witnessing what's happening. We stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Sudan, in Yemen, all these other places now under threat, Congo. It doesn't end here. And sadly, what's happening is now on the backs of the Palestinians. This now sets a precedent that we must desperately confront, and just refuse ultimately to be compliant. And our silence would do that.
Well, thank you so much for giving me your time and coming on Turn Left. I really appreciate it, and very powerful stuff.
Thank you so much, Curtis. I mean, it's a duty. It is a duty for all of us. And we've been sitting here, 56 of our family already slaughtered, now the rest in the West Bank under attack. And I just recently visited them about 3 months ago, and heart-wrenching. It's no existence. The hell that they've had to endure long before this, a horrifying genocide, which is now expanding as we're watching across the West Bank. And my greatest fear in leaving them is that goodbye. It's not like I'm going to see, or there's any assurance that I'll ever even see them again. And leaving there, they've already been annexed. They've already been torn from their homes, where we just came from, where our family have lived for decades. And it's just, one of our cousins taken. They've either killed him already, or he's currently being tortured. This is the fate. It's so brutal, and it pained me. It pained me to leave them, because that goodbye, I don't know when or if, or who I'm ever going to see again. And you leave them with this grave uncertainty, knowing that you would rather be there by their side, fighting it with them, than have to watch their onslaught from a distance, feeling helpless. And my family said to me, Lubna, there's so much more you can do there than we can. We can't speak. We can't wear our keffiyehs. We can't raise our flags. Textbooks are even being removed from the school, so the Palestinian children can't know their history. The checkpoints, this continued humiliation and demonization, and it's baker's belief. There is nothing that prepares you for what you're going to see when you're there on the ground. All the footage has been horrifying enough. But they said to me, Lubna, please go back. If you stay here, this is what's going to happen to you. They'll kill you. They'll torture you. You will be silenced. This is it. But go back to London. Speak up for us. Tell them what it's like, and please don't give up. Say the things that we cannot. And I will honor that till my last breath, and I will not be silenced. And I don't fear whatever threats are made, whatever doxing, all the rest that they do, part of their Hasbara. We know. And we confront it fearlessly, because there is far worse to come if we don't. And I just thank the movement. I thank the comrades for stepping up, for speaking out, and all of those that have taken the brave risks that they have to confront this. And this is so desperately needed. And I just have so much love and solidarity. And I've sent these messages back home that the people are fighting. They are trying to silence us. The media don't want to put these stories out. There's contortion of the truth and denial of the reality of what's happening. But we won't stop. We won't.